welcome to Goes Reviews. You suggest I review it, and welcome back to the Friday the 13th franchise reviewed remastered. Today we are continuing this remaster by taking a look at Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D.
Weekends are a good time to escape to the woods. Unless the weekend begins with Friday the 13th. Because 13 is an unlucky number. But out here, so are 1 through 12. Because these are Jason's woods. And nobody leaves them alive. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. Jason, you can't fight him. You can't stop him. And now, you can't even keep him on the screen. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. Now, when it comes to killing in Jason's woods, Jason will come to you. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. A new dimension in terror. It will scare you. Count on it.
So Friday the 13th Part 3 was released in 1982, only a year after the last film. And it happens to take place a day after the last movie. Now, if you recall, at the end of the last film, Jason got a machete slashed through his shoulder, and Jenny managed to be taken away by paramedics, with her boyfriend Paul still unknown what happened to him. Well, as it turns out, Jason escaped and was hiding out for a while until he found a barn, which happens to be part of a farmhouse which belongs to this woman named Chris, whose friends are going out to a weekend getaway, as always, in the woods. However, they end up getting the attention of a biker gang, and of course, Jason Voorhees slaughtering all of them. Now, this movie sort of more or less is the same. It's just a bunch of teens in the woods and then they get killed by Jason Voorhees. However, this time they use 3D, so there's a lot of shit flying at the screen. But here's the problem with the 3D. It's painfully obvious what was 3D in this movie. Everything that was flying at the screen. Another thing that the film is known for is being the first movie where Jason donned his iconic hockey mask, which has its own interesting origin. When they were after the last movie, where stuntman Steve Dash had to wear that bag on his head he could barely see, they realized this may be a problem for the next stuntman, so they had to make a new mask for the film. And they were doing a series of tests to see what Jason looked like in 3D, debating whether or not he should even wear a mask at all. But because one of the crew members was a hockey fan, he had a hockey mask on him, and he showed it off, and they cited that'll be Jason's mask. In film, however, the mask belongs to a prankster character named Shelley, who gets killed, and Jason takes the mask from him, and it's been his iconic mask ever since. Now, while there is no infamous explanation on why Jason dresses up as a goalie, it's a pretty iconic mask. I mean, obviously, I have a prop right here that I made myself. Anyway, well, there's more to it than that. They made two. You see, the original mask was made of leather, and Shelley wore it just fine. But when it came time to put it on Richard Brooker, the actor that plays Jason, the mask was too small, so they had to make a bigger version. And the makeup artist said that the mask was actually clear, and it was painted on the inside, which was done so the paint wouldn't chip off. pretty interesting story to learn. Now, all the kills are pretty good. Some of them are pretty lame. A lot of throat slashes, getting stabbed, and all that stuff. But then there's some ones like when Jason impales a girl with a fireplace poker, crushes a dude's head so hard that his eye pops out. Though you can plainly see the wire pulling on the fake eye, which is pretty funny, but pretty lame at the same time. But all the characters are generic characters. The only actually good, enjoyable character was Shelley, who actually goes through a bit of an arc. He has low self-esteem, so he pranks people, and he just has fun. But unfortunately, he gets killed halfway through the movie before his character could even progress. I think if the film had been written in a certain way, Shelley probably would have survived. But the most boring character throughout the entire movie is our survivor, Chris. What's her character trait? She's just a boring character who mentioned she had an experience in the woods where she was attacked by an ugly man, which of course happens to be Jason. That's it. The bikers are also a generic biker gang. They get killed pretty early too. And that's pretty much all there is to say. Although there is some pretty good music in this film. My favorite part is the opening theme, which is sort of a disco remix of the Friday the 13th theme. So, I think that's all there is to say. Although I will talk. I think I should talk about Jason Voorhees for a bit. This time, Jason's played by stuntman Richard Brooker, who is pretty good in the role. Jason's a little bulkier looking, which is appropriate. I think he would look bulkier. Although I am a little confused on what happened to his hair. He's completely bald this time, which is weird because was his hair a wig or something? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Well, time to wrap up. I'm going to give away the ending of this movie. If you don't want to get spoiled, just watch the movie. Much like in life, eventually everybody dies. Jason kills absolutely everybody. The only person left alive is Chris, who gets attacked by Jason, but she actually fights back a few times, and Jason actually gets his ass pretty beaten up in this film. I mean, what happens? Let's see. He gets a bookcase thrown on him, he gets stabbed in the leg, gets stabbed in the hand, he gets hit in the head with a shovel, he gets hung, which doesn't do anything, and when he lifts the mask up, Chris finds out that this is that hideous man that attacked her all those years ago. I'm always surprised in how much they show Jason's face in these movies. In the Halloween films, Michael's face was always such a big secret, but this time they're not afraid to show Jason's face. Anyway, Chris is about to get killed, but it turns out one of the bikers is still alive, though not for long. Jason quickly gets rid of him, then Chris hits Jason in the head with an axe, which leaves a dent in his head and the mask. Jason passes out, Chris hops around on a boat, but then sees Jason running at her without his mask on, with his head bloodied up. Then he disappears, then Mrs. Voorhees pops out of the lake. I don't know why, considering Chris never saw Mrs. Voorhees, and for some reason Mrs. Voorhees still has her head on. But of course, the next morning wakes up and Chris is alive. She's just kinda fucked up. I mean, yeah, she survived, but it's a very likely chance she's gonna see any life outside of a padded cell. And then Jason's still laying on the ground with the axe in his head. You wouldn't think at all that he would be dead, but at the time, they had officially killed off Jason Voorhees. It's weird that this was meant to be the last film, leaving it as a trilogy. But oh boy, did they not. But don't worry, next film is actually a pretty decent movie, but we'll take a look at that next time. I'm Kobe the Reviewer, and I'll see you next time.